Good evening and thanks for joining us at another episode of Youth Camera Action, a show for the youth, by the youth, brought to you by the National Youth Council of Dominica. I'm your host for this evening, Kerdisha St. Louis, and if this is your first time tuning in, I welcome you, and if you are a regular viewer, I welcome you as well. Now, for those of you who don't know, Youth Camera Action is a show where we seek to basically talk about youth-based topics and have a really exciting and, educational conversation on various topics. And tonight we're going to have a talk on health and fitness with a focus on World Diabetes Day. In studio with us right now is somebody which all of us know, Father Franklin Cuffy, who will be talking with me, for the hour about, World Diabetes Day and fitness. So right now I'll just give him, a brief chance to introduce himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for having me again. I feel very youthful being with you, being in your company tonight. I would like, you said this is a program for the youth, the young people. Mm-hmm. And only last week, a father told me that his 5-year-old child, mm-hmm. Pancreas stopped functioning. And this 5-year-old child has to be on insulin for the rest of his life.
Introducing KFC's new original recipe salad. Enjoy the great taste of KFC's original recipe chicken, now also in our very own signature dressing. Salad never tasted so good.
Mappin 2K4 introduces its PingNet upgrades. The new experience is here. From 3.5 megabytes of real internet as low as $69 monthly. Take advantage of our pre-independence offer and get 50% off installation plus specials on modems. PingNet upgrades are here. Are you ready? Mappin PingNet, real broadband, real internet. Enjoy the new experience because life is better with Mappin.
Thanks for staying with us here on Youth Camera Action. Now, before the break, we were talking with Father Cuffy. You were telling us something that I think is very relevant. And right now, we're being joined by our other guest, Nurse Prevost. Miss Priscilla, I'll just give her a chance to come in and get herself seated. Right now, Father Cuffy was telling us before the break. Mm-hmm. Miss Prevost brought treats for us. I'm so happy. Father Cuffy was telling us before the break of a young person who was in a dire situation with their health. So you could continue
telling
us
as you said,
that.
this program is
mm-hmm.
for the youth, and I want to zero in right away that diabetes concerned all of us. And I'm happy to be here and I want to compliment the National Youth Council of Dominica mm-hmm. for taking their commitment to non-communicable disease.
Right.
So I want to applaud you. I am very impressed, with your programs or your undertaking, and this is serious business.
It is. And
in fact, in one of our flyers, there's a doctor from the UK who says that he would rather have HIV than diabetes, and of course that caused a lot of eyebrows to be raised. And the point he was making is diabetes is not being given the attention, the focus. It is in a nutshell, So I want to compliment you guys.
And I want to thank you because we know you've been leading the way so far in World Diabetes Day. And I just want to ask you, what do you think is the importance of recognizing World Diabetes Day, especially here in Dominica?
Well, you said I'm leading the way, but I don't think that is right because we do have a Dominica Diabetes Association. Mm-hmm. And we have Ms. Priscilla Prevost who is here, and she has been really leading the program, and she brought some lovely dishes here. And as you're aware, the theme for this year, diabetes, is healthy eating, And I'm in blue because
Diabetes
the International Diabetes Federation, you know, or encourage a blue breakfast for this Friday. So let us welcome
Ms. Prevost. Thank you so
Prevost.
much for making it on Youth Camera Action. It's a pleasure to have you here. So we'd just like to, you know, introduce yourself to the viewers out there. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Pleasant good evening to our viewers, and it's a pleasure to be here on Youth Camera in Action. And I'm here in support of World Diabetes Day, and I have been involved in healthy lifestyle and promotion of healthy living, management of diabetes, management and prevention of diabetes, especially utilizing the natural remedies, natural way, healthy eating, regular physical activity, and of course all the research is showing that diabetes can be prevented. It can not only be controlled, but it can also be reversed. And so I am very much involved and partner with other organizations like the Diabetes Association, and both here and in Barbados, in fact, because I'm leaving for Barbados tomorrow to be part of a program up there for World Diabetes Day.
Wow.
So I'm happy to be part of this program and make my input tonight, though I will not be here for World Diabetes Day.
Well, we are very happy to have you because we know that your input is very, very, you know, significant to World Diabetes Day. And since we're talking to you, I just want to ask you, as your profession is nursing, do you find that a lot of young people these days are, you know, more prone to getting diabetes, in your opinion?
Well, definitely so, because we see more obese young people than we saw before. And type 1 diabetes is diabetes normally found in children, and that is like 10% of the total number of diabetics. However, with increase in obesity among adolescents and children, we are seeing type 2 diabetes in children, whereas type 2 diabetes is mainly an adult onset type of diabetes. But we are seeing type 2 diabetes. We have been seeing type 2 diabetes in children and adolescents because of obesity.
Okay, and do you think that maybe the exercise in the schools are not, you know, so much promoted, and, you know, the healthy living, you know, isn't promoted as much because, you know, young children like a lot of junk food, you know, sweets and candies and KFC, and, you know, it's fast, it's easy, but at the same time, it's not good for you. So do you think in the schools there's not as much, you know, promotion of healthy eating and exercise as there should be?
Probably we could say as it used to be, because, for instance, when I went to school, and some young people do not like us to say, Father Cuffy, they don't like us to say when we were, but we cannot help but say it. When I went to school, break time was exercise time. So we had rounders, skipping, hopscotch, ball games, and that was what happened at break time. But right now, break time is eating time. And many people do not take breakfast, and they wait at break time to take breakfast, which is having things just the opposite, you know, the other way around. So when we went to school, we had to have breakfast before we get to school. And snack or break would be probably guava, which you go and pick during the break. And,
or something brought from home.
Or something brought from home, but it was usually something rather healthy. Now we have a lot of packaged stuff and what you call junk foods, things that do not contain the nutrients that the children need for learning and for growth and development. So, plus there is lack of exercise. Everybody goes to school with a cell phone, and so during the break they are exercising their fingers, texting, and you see them, you know, using their fingers, but sitting or standing, and there's very little physical activity.
I remember when I went to school.
So you mentioned the word obesity. Today somebody asked me what's the difference between obesity and overweight.
There is a difference. According to the WHO standard, even for 2013, the obesity is having body mass index greater than 30. Whereas obesity is body mass index 25 to 29.9. And the body mass index is calculated based on an individual's height.
Does age also factor in?
Not necessarily. Age factors in for the younger children, the toddlers, but when one becomes an adult, it's really height.
I was saying when I went to school, the Independence Hill, walking up all that hill was part of my exercise, but now people just get dropped off to school, so there's really no walking in. I had to walk. I definitely had to. I can find a Cuffy during this Prevost, telling us a little bit about, when she was in school and the stuff was about healthy. I saw you nodding. So do you agree that before there was a lot more focus on healthy eating?
Yes, I would agree. Nowadays everything is quick. No, while you're talking about healthy breakfast, I'm conscious there's some people who go to school without a breakfast, even today. And, I know that is something that concerns us, people going without a meal to school. How will they study? Would you say this is a reality, a fact in some?
It is a fact. Some people, and I think having assessed children at different levels, different age group, different grades, we find it's a habit that starts from childhood, from infancy, where children at 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds have to go to school. They are rushed, especially if they go to school a distance from home.
The bus.
They are rushed to get the bus in the morning, and so they do not really have time to sit and eat. Or sometimes they feel probably if they eat they will get sick. So they do not, and that remains with them as a habit. There are some people who may go to school without breakfast, probably because they do not have the breakfast.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I see we're running now. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back on Youth Camera Action. Stay tuned.
Feeling like an African queen? What he really wants done is your hair, baby. Go now to BeautyWise, Dominica's largest beauty supply store, and transform your look. Sexy hair is so attractive. Hair products, hair oils, argan, castor, avocado, plus all the best makeup. BeautyWise has all your fantasy lingerie, guaranteed sizzling. BeautyWise, Dominica's largest beauty supply store. On 41 Hanover Street, Roseau.
Thanks for staying with us on Youth Camera Action. We were, just talking before the break on healthy living, and Ms. Priva was, delving in. And before, when she came, she brought some delicious treats for us, and she's setting that up right now. So, Father Cuffy, let me talk to you a little bit more about, the World Diabetes Day event, because, it's coming up very soon. And there's also an event on Friday, the Blue Breakfast, which you were telling us a little bit about. So could you give us a little bit of the background story on, the whole creating of the World Diabetes Day, the founders? It's general importance because we know that non-communicable diseases right now are a big thing. So could you give us a little background information on that?
Okay. The Belgium-based International Diabetes Association, which created the World Diabetes Day, was first observed in 1991, and it pushed through a United Nations resolution prioritizing diabetes as a world health threat. And this year, we have the theme for World Diabetes Day, Healthy Living and Diabetes. And I guess that's why we have, she thought those snacks over for her. I mean, it's what she wanted to make a presentation for us, because the focus from 2014 to 2016 is healthy living and diabetes. That is why we suggesting, or the International Diabetes Federation suggested that we internationally, for World Diabetes Day, we have a breakfast, a healthy breakfast. So this is what Friday is happening here in Dominica. But today in Grand Bay, they also had an activity where the nutritionist, Ms. Stitt, or Mrs. Stitt, she presented the different portions, you know, of the meals and so on. And I must compliment the Grand Bay Association, Diabetes Association. I think they're the most active group in Dominica. So they are having, they had the activity today. Then on Friday, they're going to have a march from the health center through how you call that area? Through Grand Bay. Lale to the park. Okay. And then on that day, 12 of the executive members will receive a pin, the blue International Diabetes pin. They will receive that, and one of these banners, you know, to encourage them. So this is Grand Bay. In Portsmouth, I think they're having an mass aerobic exercise on Thursday to do in general. I don't think it emphasizes on diabetes, but I heard it on the radio inviting people. And then in Roseau, the All Saints Medical School, All Saints University School of Medicine will be having a health fair with a focus on diabetes. And of course, the usual thing. But we are also inviting cyclists to join us and the health fair will go from 8 to 3, and then the cyclists, we have about 20 of them, I believe, will be cycling from Roseau, All Saints to Mero, where we'll be hosted by the Mero Enhancement Committee. We are hoping on behalf of the Health Department, the Minister of Health, to give each one of the cyclists who make it to Mero a hula hoop. You know, as a symbol, the hula hoop is very, you know, it's saying to them they have a responsibility to hand on the message to the kids, to somebody else. So we hope they show up. You know, it's really making a statement for diabetes. As we said, this gentleman says, you know, enough attention is not being given
and
to
tonight
diabetes.
on Youth Camera Action, we are also focusing, so that's part of the activities as well. Tonight we're focusing on World Diabetes Day. Yes. And
we had a very interesting editorial in the Sun newspaper, and I think everybody should read this. Everybody concerned should read, and it's talking about the statistics and how frightening it is. I have it with me, and we'll look a few quotations as we go along. For instance, the opening statement is, there has never been a better time for you to take stock of your diet again, and levels of your physical activities. As we approach World Diabetes Day, to be observed here on November 14, the National Diabetes Association has made us aware of some alarming statistics. For example, we now know that diabetes is a silent killer that sends one person to his grave every 7 seconds. Wow. Would that be
the correct analysis?
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Sends the people to the grave, one person every 7 seconds?
Globally.
Wow.
And you say today more than 38 million people worldwide are living with diabetes. And if we go down to what is happening here in Dominica, he said, again, I referring to the editorial, and it says the International Diabetes Association has estimated that 11.29% of Dominicans, the Dominican population, have been affected by diabetes, and 1.29% of Dominicans do not know that they already have diabetes. You know, I went to him to ask him, you know, can you confirm that? You know, and he says in 2013, there were 5,180 people with diabetes in Dominica. Would it be that high? 5,180 cases of diabetes in Dominica. And then he's still saying there's a 1.29% who do not know that, you know, they are living pre-diabetes stage.
Yeah, because the thing is, every time we have, if you do screening, a screening and you screen 100 persons, you will, well, from what I have been seeing, you will find about 5 to 10 persons, within about 5 to 10 persons with elevated blood sugar. Some of them are non-diabetics, and some would be new persons who are not aware that they have diabetes.
So they don't read the signs that sometimes they might have, or?
Well, the fact is, for most cases, you may not have a sign. That's why, as Father Cuffy said, it is silent. It can be considered a silent killer, just like hypertension, because you only get signs and symptoms when the condition is already advanced. For most people, they have no signs and symptoms. So there are signs and symptoms, but for most people, it is either diagnosed on a screening program, or probably if they go to the doctor, routine screening or routine health check. They may go to the hospital for surgery or for some other complaint, and the test is done routinely for persons. Therefore, it is detected that they have diabetes.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and we'll be talking more about the signs. So stay tuned. Youth Camera Action right here on Mapping 2K4. Yes, working out and exercise is an important aspect of my life, because I believe I should stay fit and healthy, and it also helps the blood circulate and helps me breathe properly.
Honestly, I don't get to work out as much as I want to, but I would say yes, because it keeps the body fit, sharpens your reflexes, keeps your mind sharp, and like it improves your appearances.
Yes, working out is an important aspect of my life, because it does not only enhance the physical aspect of the body, but it also enhances the brain, which therefore gives you more focus for the day ahead.
In combating the disease, diabetes, exercising plays an important role because it helps keep the body fit, and when you eat, the starch stays in your body, so exercising helps break it down fast.
I do think it is important, because it goes a long way in the battle. It can help you, like having a proper balanced diet will help you combat the disease, and make you feel better.
Yes, it would be good, because a diabetic person lives a healthy lifestyle. So with the use of insulin when needed, with a healthy, well-balanced meal, and with exercise, both mentally and physically, I believe is the way to go.
I rather home cooked meals because they are much healthier, and with the 6 food groups in order to stay healthy.
Home cooked meals, because I like what my parents cook, and as well it's important to have the different variety of food groups in your diet to help keep you healthy.
Well, me, I love my mother's cooking, so I prefer a home cooked meal.
I would prefer a home cooked meal, because my mom is a fantastic cook. So I get all the vital nutrients and the vitamins that I would need for the day ahead.
As a parent, you need to start at home to teach your child the proper food techniques to eat, containing the 6 food groups, starch, and etc.
I think it's very important, because then the children are going to adapt that habit of eating healthy foods and exercising. Also, they're going to pass it on to others. So I think it is important for parents to see that.
I do think it is important, because if the children from small, loving vegetables and healthy foods, when they grow up, it will be a lot easier and they will be a lot more healthy.
Yes, it would be good for this, because if the parents do start this from young, then the child will have that little saying in their head to always have a home cooked meal, always exercise, and it will keep growing with them. So that would be good, I would say.
Thanks for staying tuned with us on Youth Camera Action. And if you were watching during the break, we were interviewing some young people from the Dominica Grammar School getting their opinion on what they believe is health and fitness. And as you can see, health and fitness is very important to the youth. And before the break, we were talking, about tips that you could, signs and symptoms of diabetes that people may not know about. But before we get to that, I just want to, ask Father Cuffy to talk to us a little bit about his Blue Breakfast, the event they're having on Friday of this week. So you'll tell us a little bit about the event.
Even before we go into that, I want to go back to the sign and symbol because Nurse Prevost said, it's a secret killer, and you don't know. For instance, in my case, at the seminary, I ran, which I still do, twice a day, and I used a lot of honey. Before I went out, I took honey for energy. When I came back, because in Mont Saint Benedict, there was honey on the table, they produced honey. So I went out, I took honey. When I came back in, I took honey. On the plane, when I got to travel to Dominica, from the plane, I ended up in the hospital with elevated sugar. And that was the first time, I was diagnosed, and I've been keeping fit all the time, but it's just using so much honey, in which my bread and just taking honey, so it was the sugar.
So even though it's natural, it still affects you.
It's very healthy, but again, it's overdoing it. So I just wanted to share that point, you want to comment
Tell us,
on that?
some of the hidden signs and symptoms that we could, take more interest in, because, we never know if we might have diabetes.
We have things there. When you sit down in mango season, we cannot eat one mango. You have to eat like half a dozen mangoes. Or, you go to the country and during the holidays, you eat a number of grapefruits or a number of oranges.
Yeah,
so just as the honey, too much honey is bad, Too many mangoes in one sitting can also be bad as well.
That is true. That is true. Talking about the signs and symptoms, as we said, for many persons, they may not have had the opportunity to experience signs and symptoms because it was detected on routine examination or routine screening. However, when signs and symptoms do occur, it means the disease is already in its advanced stage. It is said usually the disease is there 5 years before it is detected when you wait for signs and symptoms to occur. The signs and symptoms would be things like increased thirst, increased hunger, so persons feel hungry even though they have just eaten, weight loss, pruritus, that is itching of the skin or even the vagina in the female. There can also be lesions or ulcers that takes time to heal. These are some of the signs and symptoms.
Because I know when you have diabetes and you get injured, you have to take care of it really well.
Exactly. Yes. And that has a specific reason because diabetes affects the nerves as well as the blood vessels. And the nerves and the blood vessels, especially in the extremities, are very important, tiny organs, but they are important. And they contribute to our sense of sensation. The nerves, you feel pain as a result of the nerves connected to the brain and your spinal cord. And for diabetes, one of the complications of diabetes is that the nerves are affected. The high levels of sugar over time affects the nerves, as well as it affects the tiny oxygen for a significant number of time. Then it will die, right? And that is why you have amputation of the limb when a person gets injury that is not well, cared for.
And if it dies, it may become, detrimental to the rest of.
Exactly. If you do not cut off the dead part, then it will continue to fester, and in fact, the person would die of toxemia, that is poisoning of the blood.
So all that is telling me that it's really important to get regular checkups and get screened to prevent diabetes.
Exactly.
Wow.
But more than even that is to know what the risk factors are so that you can prevent the risk factors. And as I said earlier, one of the risk factors is obesity. And obesity is as a result of eating, not only eating the wrong foods, but eating the right foods in the wrong quantity, you know. Eating too much, even of the good thing, can be a bad thing.
And as you're saying that, I just want to come to your lovely display that you brought for us. I'm so excited right now. The lovely display of food that you brought for us. And I see that a lot of them are breakfast foods.
Yes,
so could you talk to us a little bit about, you know?
Yes, because the theme for World Diabetes Day this year is healthy eating begins with breakfast. And this theme is focusing not only on the diabetic, but also on the general public, the young people, and everybody. So while the table looks a little bit crowded, but we have at least 3 different breakfast menus on this little table here. So I will start with one. In fact, I am part of the healthy breakfast on DBS radio in the mornings. I'm one of the presenters, and I usually recommend breakfast. Well, healthy breakfast would consist of all the nutrients that the body requires. So it would have protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins, and water. So we have all of that on the table here tonight in 3 different menus. So the first menu would be this here. We have fruits, and right here we have 3 servings of fruits. We have half of a large orange. Half of a large orange is 1 serving, so we have it in 2 pieces here. We have a ripe banana, so this size banana is it's 1 serving. I think I need to get off the plastic so we can see it a little bit better.
Well, while you do that, we are going to, you know, take a short break again, and you know, you should stay tuned to Youth Camera Action. We have a delicious show ahead. Stay tuned, Youth Camera Action. We'll be right back after the break.
This house was first purchased by the Robinsons, who then sold it to Indra Ford in 2007. She loved baking, but last year she forgot to turn off the stove. Luckily, Sagicor General was there to help rebuild. So now, the house will smell of sweetbread again for a long, long time. We know this house, like we know every house we insure. Across the land, throughout the region, we've been there. Sagicor General, wise financial thinking for life.
It's movies, entertainment, sports, news, travel, cuisine, and arts. Pink TV is here. With over 80 great channels to choose from to satisfy your entertainment needs no matter what. Watch all your pay-per-view programs with ease. Tier services included Fox Soccer Plus, Speed TV, and tennis. Watch quality local programming like the Channel 5 News and Ion Sports, all from the comfort of your home in full digital and HD. The thrill, the scale, and the emotion. Marpin 2K4 Pink TV, bringing value home because life is better with Marpin.
This is Destra, and I'm in Dominica, and right now it's Youth Camera Action. We live. A little Joaquin, a little Joaquin. Keep it up.
Thanks for staying tuned to Youth Camera Action right here on Mapping 2K4. Now, before the break, we were having some delicious treats brought to us by Nurse Prevost. She was explaining to us, you know, the different amounts that we should eat and the different types of breakfast. So, Nurse Prevost, could you please continue? You were telling us about the fruits, I believe.
Okay, I was saying that we have 3 different breakfast menus here, and this is one. So we have our, first of all, our carbohydrate dish, which comes in the form of oatmeal cereal, oatmeal porridge, and this is 2 servings of oatmeal porridge, which is equivalent to 2 slices of bread or 1 burger bread. Yes, so this is 2 servings of oatmeal porridge, which is 1 cup, 1 measure cup, 8-ounce measure cup. And we have 3 servings of fruit right here.
Can I see my favorite fruits?
Yes, we have
papaya.
Ripe papaya, we have orange, and we have a banana. So 3 servings of fruit. And
when you say 3 servings, you mean for breakfast you'll have 1 serving?
No, you can have all 3.
3.
So this is a breakfast menu. This is a full menu, along with some nuts, right? We have peanuts, it's unsalted, peanuts and a little bit of raisins in here. And you could add it with your, with the oatmeal porridge. So this is a complete breakfast for not just a diabetic person, but anybody can have this breakfast. Your fruit, we have vitamin A, we have vitamin C, and we have potassium as well from the, and vitamin B6 from our ripe bananas. So we have vitamins and minerals right here. We have, in this, we have milk, so we have protein. Our protein comes from our oats and our milk, and also from the nuts. Another breakfast menu could be this. So instead of the oatmeal, we're having bread. So we have a burger bread, and with the burger bread, we have one ripe banana, and we have some spread. This is carrot raisin spread. This is carrot, raisin, and peanut butter, right? Carrot, raisin, peanut butter that we will have with our burger bread and the ripe banana. With that, we can have a cup of herbal tea.
I see we have the tea.
Yes, and we have a cup of, this is unsweetened
Ginger?
No, this is not ginger. You smell it again. This is lemongrass, right? Citronella. So we have lemongrass as our tea. Peanut butter, raisin, and carrots, right? So this is our spread. This that goes with the burger bread and the ripe banana. So this is another breakfast menu.
And I know peanut butter and banana goes really well together, so you can make a full sandwich from that.
Exactly. So you have a sandwich right here. And then the third menu, we have a ground provision. So we have some yams, and this is babaule right here, and some dashin with tofu, scrambled tofu. So the scrambled tofu replaces the egg.
What is tofu exactly?
Tofu is soy cheese, right? It's the milk, curded soy milk.
Okay, tofu.
Right? Yes, tofu. And it is available regularly at most of the supermarkets
What
here.
about the cost?
The cost is no more expensive than fish or meat.
Oh, okay.
Even codfish is more expensive.
Than tofu?
Than tofu,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
And it tastes the same,
And
right?
you will taste it
Because
tonight.
people are so hesitant about, you know, it tastes different, it tastes weird, I don't want to try it, but I think it tastes exactly like the alternative, and it's all about the different seasonings that you put in it.
Exactly, exactly. Tofu by itself is bland, but here we have seasoning pepper. You see the red seasoning pepper. We have diced tomatoes, we have onions, we have garlic, and yeah, and just a pinch of salt, seasoning salt, and this is great.
No
You'll
black
taste
pepper.
it. No, there's no black pepper in there. All right?
And I saw you brought a serving by itself as well.
Right, so this could go with the bread, or you could use it with provision. So our staple or carbohydrate dish would be provision, cereal, or bread.
And I heard that it's better for you if you eat carbohydrates at breakfast, because breakfast is the most important meal, and you are more likely to burn it off
exactly.
than if you eat at lunch, where you're more, you know, relaxed. So you should have a lighter lunch and a lighter supper, but you can have a heavy breakfast.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this with our breakfast, and we have a glass of milk. Yes. Yes, we have milk with the with this, because the carbohydrate here in the form of the provision does not contain protein, so to speak. So as compared to the bread or the oatmeal, in addition to the carbohydrate, it also contains protein. But when the provision does not have any significant amount of protein, so we need to ensure that we have adequate amount of protein. So we have the milk with the tofu. And we recommend skim, soy, low-fat, or almond milk. But for protein, we would prefer to use either the soy milk or the soy milk or the low-fat or skim milk.
So is the full cream too rich or?
Fat, yes. And apart from sugar, fat is implicated in the development of diabetes. A high-fat diet, high-fat diet contributes to the development of diabetes. So in here we have some fat, we have natural fat. We need fat, but not too much fat. So even with the scrambled tofu, you do not see any amount of oil or grease, you know, floating around. So there is a small amount, but just enough. And the tofu itself has its own natural fat.
I know there's some liquid. And then
this is just from the provision and a little bit of
the condensation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I see that you focus a lot on serving sizes, which is really important. You have is that 2 serving size?
This is 2 servings of provision
okay.
right here. 2 servings, which is about 5 to 6 ounces.
Right. And I see you have the water. And one of the tips I know that people use, you know, in keeping healthy and not to indulge in overeating is before you eat, you drink, you know, like a glass of water, and that prevents you from, you know, overeating or eating too much, because, you know, sometimes we don't know when to say no and we overeat. So is that one of the things that probably helps?
Well, actually, I recommend, and the recommendation is more to have your water in between meals rather than with or just before the meal. In between meals. So like, for instance, first thing in the morning before breakfast, you can have 2 glasses of water, and room temperature water, that is, preferably. And in between meal, when people would normally take a snack. In fact, if you have a breakfast like this, you do not need a snack. It is high in fiber, it is nutritious, and because it's high in fiber, it releases the sugar gradually into the bloodstream, rather than the quick rush of blood sugar that demands more insulin. So
and the provisions that has the sugar and the carbohydrates.
The provision, the oatmeal or whole grain cereal, the whole wheat bread. You notice you have whole wheat bread instead of white bread, because the fiber content in the whole wheat bread is much higher than the white bread is devoid of fiber. So when you eat the white bread, there is less fiber or no fiber at all, and therefore it gets into the bloodstream rather quickly, and you need a lot of insulin to get it into the cells, and you'll get hungry much faster as well. But with the high fiber, which you get from the plant foods, all your fruits, your cereals, the whole grain bread, the ground provision, the sugar is released slowly into the bloodstream, and therefore it helps to control your level of blood sugar.
She has a question. Is it in the provision that you have the sugar?
Yes, because a lot of people don't understand that sugar is carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are in, you know, ground provision and, you know, earth-formed fruits, not fruits, but earth-formed vegetables like, you know, dasheen and plantain and, you know, those kind of things.
Yes, definitely. Actually, in fact, the fruits also contain sugar, right? Fruits also contain carbohydrate. We eat the food, but when it gets into the body, into the stomach, then it turns into sugar, and it is the sugar that the body takes in as the nutrient, the carbohydrate. It takes in the sugar. So there's sugar in the provision, in the bread, in the oatmeal, whether there is added sugar or not.
All right, we're going to take a short break again. Stay tuned with us. Youth Camera Action. We'll be right back. Mapping 2K4.
On the ground and around the world.
This is my seed. That's yours.
18 Degrees North uncovers, investigates, and celebrates Caribbean stories with global impact.
We're ready for the road.
Welcome to 18 degrees north.
Thanks for staying with us on Youth Camera Action. Once again, I'm your host, Kerdisha St. Louis. And if you've been following this very interesting and, nutritional show, you would know that our focus tonight is World Diabetes Day, and especially food and fitness. And our two guests, Father Franklin Cuffy and Nurse Priscilla Prevost, were talking to us a little bit about, the importance of exercise and health and portion servings and healthy eatings, all in relation to, being generally healthy and also focusing on non-communicable diseases, particularly diabetes. Now, before the break, we were talking a little bit more about the food and, the serving sizes and the different, carbohydrates and proteins and fats and all those things that Nurse Prevost was telling us about. So I know you want to continue where we left off.
Yes, well, I just want to let our listeners, our viewers, our viewers understand that as the theme for World Diabetes Day is healthy eating begins with breakfast. And when we eat a breakfast like this, as I've showed you, 3 different menus, and there are several others, and we can just mix and match, providing we have our carbohydrate, which is our staple food, either bread, cereal, or provision, and we have a protein dish, and our protein on the table we have the scrambled tofu. We also showed you the carrot raisin spread, which is carrot raisin peanut butter. We also have milk, and we recommend either soy, skim, low fat, or almond milk. But for protein, if you're using milk as protein, then it would either be the soy milk or the skim or low fat milk. The almond milk is not a rich source of protein. It has other nutrients, but if you're using milk as protein, then soy is even better. So this is our plant-based breakfast, so to speak. So it replaces things like the regular egg and the sausage and the cheese and those high-fat, animal-based protein foods. Because one of the problems with diabetes is that they're also subject to cardiovascular problems like heart attacks, stroke, and the more the persons can use a plant-based diet, it is the better. This is the reason why we will be hosting a health retreat, diabetes retreat at the Regents Hotel this month end, so that persons would not only see it on the television, but they can actually be part of the preparation, and they will know exactly how to prepare different plant-based meals. They will have the opportunity of actually tasting. You can only see tonight, but you cannot taste it. Our participants here will have the taste, but when we are through. But
well, we can invite them on Friday.
Yes.
We have the breakfast, so that will be an opportunity for many of you who are looking at us this evening to join us
Friday,
from 8 in the morning to 1 p.m. for only $15.
Yes. And you can purchase, tickets at the National Youth Council office. We have our new office location. It's upstairs where the old J's used to be. So you can come up there and you can purchase your ticket for the Blue Breakfast. It's only $15. And those people, about the the retreat that you all are having, how can people sign up or get access to come to it?
They can call the office 449-6846, or they can visit the Healthy Lifestyle and Corporate Wellness Services office upstairs of the Junior Achievers, that is next to Domlec on number 4 Fort Lane in Roseau.
And what is the cost for the retreat?
Well, the cost it's a package. It includes the test. There are different packages. So when persons come, it depends on what they want. If they want a live-in package, if they want just the sessions, or there are different packages. So when persons call, they will get further information.
So you will be teaching them how to prepare the breakfast.
They will actually be involved in preparing not only breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because there is a live-in package. So persons come in the Thursday evening. The program starts on Thursday evening with supper and then on Friday morning we run the tests, the lipid profile, the HbA1c, and then we have the sessions where they'll be preparing the breakfast, lunch, supper. They have exercise, and a very important aspect of exercise for controlling and reversing diabetes is having at least a 15-minute exercise, not brisk exercise, but 15 minutes walk after every meal.
Wow. So it's not good to stay stagnant after
that has been proven to help the diabetes control.
Okay, so speaking of exercise, I know exercise plays a big role in the control of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes. So do you think that a lot of us now don't place as much emphasis, or maybe not enough, but like we only exercise at certain points, but we don't regularly exercise? Only when we think, oh no, I forgot, I haven't exercised, I should start exercising, and we only exercise for maybe 2-3 days and then we forget about it. So do you think regular exercise plays a part?
Definitely. If we think of eating, we eat regularly. We eat 3 meals. Most people, some people eat all day long. And the fact is, when you take in energy, you're supposed to be utilizing the energy that you use, that you take in. If you do not utilize this energy that you have taken in the form of food, the excess is stored as fat. Right? So this is why if you exercise, and this is why the 3 times a day or the exercise right after the meal for the diabetics really works. And I've used it for some clients here, and it works. It does work.
Okay. And I know it's not good to overeat and not exercise, but it's also not good to skip meals, because I believe that when you skip meals, your body does still store it as fat. Is that correct too?
Yes.
Because a lot of people think that skipping meals is a quick way to lose weight and get healthy, but it's actually really unhealthy to do that.
It is unhealthy because you actually burn energy when you eat, because when you eat, the body has to process that food, so you actually burn energy. When you do not eat, then you store. It's like the body is holding on for for later on. Okay. So it is important that we eat, but it's important that we also exercise. And also I need to mention the importance of the water. We mentioned it before, but in terms of diabetes, water is very, very important. And we emphasize having your 8 glasses of water a day, which is actually, this bottle contains 2 glasses. So the small 240, that is 240 mils, yes, have 0.5 liter, that's 16.9 ounces, that is actually 2 glasses of water. 2 glasses.
In that one bottle?
In that one bottle. So if you drink that bottle, 4 of them a day, okay. Yes. If you drink that bottle, then it is 2 glasses.
And I know when we were talking before, you mentioned something about diabetes regressing completely. Is there a way is that possible, that the disease may regress completely?
Yes, it is. It is, especially if it is addressed during the early stages, like persons who have just been diagnosed, or 1-2 years, where there is no organ damage, right? There's no organ damage, the kidneys and the heart, and so there's no organ damage. Then on a plant-based diet, the diabetes can be reversed. That plant-based diet, along with exercise and water and a positive attitude, weight loss for those persons who are overweight or obese, because if the obesity is the driving force, if the obesity is the major risk factor, then when you lose the obesity or you lose weight, you get down as close as possible to your ideal weight, which should be between 18.6 and 24.9, then the problem of diabetes can be resolved.
And are there any organizations, on Ireland that people can go to for the assistance of managing their disease? Or because I know we have the Cancer Society, there's the diabetes organization, so can people go there to receive like a support group, to band together to combat it?
In fact, one of our campaign this weekend is registration. As I read earlier on, in 2013 we had 5,100 people with diabetes. So we are on a campaign, so we can really support each other. 5,000 people, you know, in Dominica, and I do not think we have 1,000 people register with us.
Okay.
So we are going on that massive campaign because, as you rightly said, the support is needed. But I was looking at your water, and I noticed it there's added stuff to this, to the content of the. It was drawn to my attention that, you know, you have calcium, magnesium, sodium, and all potassium, all that in this.
I think that's the natural. That's the natural content.
Natural content. It's nothing added. Nothing added to it.
Yeah. And as we wrapping up right now, we're running out of time. I just want Father Cuffy to share a little bit about the Blue Breakfast that people may, you know, where people can get more tickets and where do they have to go to participate and, you know, get involved in the Blue Breakfast really quickly.
Well, we will have tickets available at Jolly's starting at 8 o'clock in the morning and goes on to 1 o'clock. Again, we have the health fair the following day from 8 to 3. And again, we really want to encourage and invite people to register, you know, to be part of the society. As you rightly asked, where can you get support? Where are helps available? And again, we have people like Nurse Prevost who is available all the time. But we need to organize ourselves so we can give ourselves those opportunities.
That's really true. And I just want to thank you all, you know, for coming on to this show. It was a very entertaining, very educational show. I love the display that you brought these people. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And I want to, you know, wish you good luck on your journey tomorrow. I hope you arrive there safely. And I hope you have a good time at your meeting. Father Cuffy, thank you so much. I know you're a regular guest here on Youth Camera Action for always giving out your time to come and talk to us about, you know, the various items. And, you know, you're so involved in so much in Dominica. So I just want to say, you know, once again, thank you. And thank you, viewers out there, for staying tuned to Youth Camera Action. Once again, I was your host, Kerdisha St. Louis. I just want to wish all of you a good night, and I hope that you will tune in next week to Youth Camera Action at 8:30 right here on Mapping 2K4. We'll have another interesting and exciting show for you. So make sure you tune in next week to Youth Camera Action and have a pleasant evening and good night. Thank you so much.